Lynette Oxley here for Tax Shack Tactical TV. Here with Paul. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Lynn.
Been a hectic week, I must tell you. Yeah.
Indeed.
What are we chatting about today?
Okay, so a couple of things have come up. The perennial issue of gun-free zones, or firearm-free zones, as they're referred to in the Firearms Control Act. We want to talk a little bit about the Hawks and the SAPS action against the CMMG Bravo conversion kits for AR-15s to allow them to fire .22 LR ammunition. We're going to talk about Krag, and we're going to talk about Girls on Fire.
Yeah, that's what I've been busy with at 80% of my time, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
So in any case.
Okay,
gun-free zones. What it's come up
so guys, oh boy, this is a gun-free zone. I'm not allowed to carry my. Hang on a second. So there's a couple of different flavors of areas where carrying a firearm is prohibited, or is frowned upon. One of them, if we look at the Firearms Control Act, they refer to something called firearm-free zones. And these are in the Act and in the regulations. These are made provision for. If you want to, in the regulations, it tells you if you want to apply as the landlord or the owner of a property, if you want to apply to have your property declared a firearm-free zone, there's a specified process which you have to follow. To our certain knowledge, nobody, zero, duck's egg, in South Africa has applied in terms of the Firearms Control Act for their premises to be declared a firearm-free zone. So that's our starting point. Secondly, we have private property where shopping malls, where the landlord, the person who controls the property, can determine that he doesn't, in terms of admission requirements, in terms of the right to admission, he can reserve admission to anybody. He doesn't like people with bloody wearing wife-beater vests. He can put something up there saying no vest, only sleeve shirts or whatever, and he can refuse entry on that basis. And it's a matter of choice. You can choose whether to go there or not to go there.
Yeah.
So if you want to go there, you put on another shirt, or no slops inside the premises. Then you've got to have closed shoes or whatever it is, no bare feet, whatever. He can determine that in terms of his right of admission reserved. If you are legally carrying, and you've got good concealment, and you go into the place, you are technically in violation of the owner's admission requirements. They can, if they find you with a firearm inside the admission, the right of admission reserved premises, they can ask you to leave. And if you refuse to leave, they can charge you with trespassing. That's it. They can't lay hands on you. They can't send the security guards to arrest you. Or they've got to ask you to remember that the law works like this. If you commit it's not a breach of the law. If you commit a breach of the admission requirements in a particular place, they can ask you to remedy them. Remedying them is to leave the premises. If you refuse to leave the premises, then you're there without their permission. Then you're trespassing.
That's it. Same in terms of the workplace?
Yeah. Yes, in terms of the workplace, exactly the same. A lot of companies say, oh no guns allowed. But you can negotiate with if it's your workplace and you're there for employment, you can approach your manager and you can say, listen, this is unfair. I travel a long distance to get you every day and home, and I'm going past this area which is not so lacquer, and and I'm a little bit worried, and I'd like to carry my licensed firearm with me for self-defense. And then you put the ball in their court, and they can come with a suggestion. They can say, no, you can't do that, in which case, I don't know, put a safe in your car, which is allowed in terms of the Act, or decide not to, or decide to carry concealed and risk your job, your choice. The other areas that are declared gun-free zones are, for example, government facilities, some government facilities, not all, and municipal facilities, not all. SARS is a declared gun-free zone in terms of their legislation. Gautrain, although we all know people that have gone backwards and forwards with rifle cases on Gautrain, it's officially gun-free. It's prohibited. Schools are supposed to be gun-free zones. A zone around the school is supposed to be gun-free. Of course, that doesn't stop people that want to attack schools. Typically, gun-free zones are known as
welcome in.
Yeah, as soft on crime, because you can do whatever you like there. They can't really do anything to you. So government buildings, schools, courts, very often. Sometimes not, but sometimes. You have to navigate this area with a little bit of circumspection. When you wake up in the morning, don't be an idiot. Try not to put yourself in a difficult situation.
Planes.
Yeah. So
Except if you organise it, obviously.
So the gun-free zone thing is, in terms of the Firearms Control Act, there is zippo, nothing. So that's all we can really deal with. The rest of the stuff all falls under different laws and different provisions, and as I say, property owners and landlords' right to restrict access to premises, etc., etc. If you guys have any specific inquiries about that, we'll put it to our legal team, and we can come back with suggestions and answers next week.
Okay.
So 2 days ago, the Hawks pitch up at premises in Pretoria and in Cape Town in a coordinated operation. They tell the operator of the institutions, which are dealers, they say to them they're there to conduct an inspection. They start conducting an inspection, and then they say, "Ooh, what are those?"
It was planned.
And it was entirely planned. And it was planned with the backing. So apparently the story starts where a person was bringing in non-licensable parts. He was exporting them from the United States by post to South Africa, and he was selling them in South Africa. I must stress that these are considered to be non-licensable parts. This came to the attention of the police and the Hawks, and somebody reported somebody, etc., etc. And the Hawks took this to SAPS Ballistics and asked SAPS Ballistics, the particular kits we're talking about have three components. They have a magazine, a plastic magazine, that takes .22 rounds. They have a replacement bolt, which is basically just a piece of metal with a firing pin in it and rails and a spring assembly at the back. And they have a chamber insert in the shape of a 5.56 case, okay, with a hole in the center of it into which a .22 LR round can be inserted. And the purpose of these things is quite simple. You have to have an AR-15 in order to make it work. Okay?
Which is licensed.
Which is licensed. So you then you open your AR-15, you take out your bolt carrier group, you put the chamber insert into the chamber, and you put in this replacement bolt. You close your AR-15, you push through the pins, and you put the magazine in with .22 rounds, and you can then use .22 LR rounds in your AR-15. Cycles, etc., etc. They're not terribly accurate, I must tell you, because although the barrels are the same diameter, in other words, the caliber
is the same.
0.224 of an inch 5.56 millimeters is the same. The fact that when the .22 cartridge is fired, the .22 bullet has to travel about 30 millimeters before it reaches the rifling in the barrel, already introduces a degree of instability in the bullet. However, they are much cheaper to practice with. If a person is shooting an AR-15 in competition, and they want to practice with their AR-15, so it's got their optics that are set up for them, their grips, etc., 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 it makes it possible for you to emulate shooting your AR-15, but at much less cost, at 2 Rand a round as opposed to 15 Rand a round, for example.
Well, I've just worked out some prices of stuff that's been sponsored to me in terms of .22. 3 Rands 50 per round, by the way, Paul. It's become really ridiculous. I've just priced
15 playing 15 Rand or
exactly,
12 Rand or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
So people could use it to practice functions and reloading and stuff like, and you know, it's a good, and training youngsters and training other people that might be put off by anyway. So there's plenty very, very good reasons for these kits. Anyway, so SAPS Ballistics determined the chamber insert, which is not a barrel. It's got no rifling in it. It's basically a sleeve that fits into the chamber that allows a .22 cartridge to not to wobble inside and fall down into the chamber. They've determined that to be a barrel. Now, what's interesting is you can't use any of the 3 components in the CMMG Bravo kit. You can't use any of them without a rifle to put them in. You know, sure, you could make up a zip gun. You can make up a zip gun without the Bravo kit. There's no reason for you know, it would be easier to make it up not to the specific dimensions that the CMMG Bravo kit is. So anyway, so it's a bit of a pointless argument. There is nothing in the Firearms Control Act or the regulations which describes what a barrel is.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a point. A barrel is a pipe. In terms of this, the particular part that they've now identified as a barrel, as I said, doesn't have rifling in it. So it's a pipe. It's a piece of steel with a hole through the middle. That's it. And they've now determined that constitutes a barrel, in which case, hell, I've got a lot of plumbing stuff outside. There's pipes all over the place. You know, you can fit a 12 gauge into most 3/4 inch plumbing pipes. Fits a 12 gauge shell very neatly into the back of it. So is that a barrel? Nope, it's not a barrel. In any case, so they made a big to-do about this, and they confiscated a whole bunch of things, and they're laying charges. The charges haven't been laid yet, so I'm not quite certain in terms of what
they've confiscated.
There's no case number because they haven't actually laid charges yet. They've just, in a precautionary manner, they've confiscated these goods, and these goods are now sitting in a SAPS 13 store, and it's hundreds. I mean, at the one place they confiscated 125 of these kits. Now these kits sell for about, they retail for more than 9,000 Rand a piece. So it's not cheap. It's not, you know, but anyway. So and this there was in total 153 with all the ones they seized in Cape Town and at various dealers. So there's 153 in play, or 154. The number varies according to which news report you read. The problem is that there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of these kits imported already up till now. They are with other dealers, they're with the public, because they don't require a license, because there are no licensable parts. You and I will recall about 20 years ago, we went over to the States and we bought a whole bunch of these Bravo kits from CMMG, and they lay in the States. We thought at the time that they required a license. So we came back to South Africa and we got in touch with them. We said to them, okay, so what are the serial numbers of the kits we purchased so that we can apply for an import permit? And CMMG came back to us and said, no, These aren't licensable parts. Now the Americans, despite what people might believe, the popular belief that guns lie around in the streets and you can buy them off the shelves in supermarkets and stuff like that, it ain't quite like that. They have incredibly strict export requirements. So the Americans said to us, no, we can't do that. They don't have numbers on them. We see them, well, can't you just stamp numbers on them for us so we can apply for import permits? And they said to us, no, you can't. We're not allowed to do that. If we do that, we fall foul of our federal alcohol, tobacco, and firearms laws. We can't do that. We will not do that. Eventually, after 2 years of toing and froing with this, we asked them for our money back, and they gave us our money back. In fact, no, we swapped it out for Magpul magazines or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, so the story is that they are not licensable parts. All of these that have been imported in the country came in. None of them came over the border in the boot of a car or anything like that. They all came in through OR Tambo. They came in through Guard Force Security, through the border police. They were inspected and they were passed on because they are not licensable parts. They were not recognized by anybody. The manufacturers, the exporters in the United States, the importers in South Africa, or any of the police agencies up until now to be licensable parts. They were just parts, accessories. It's an accessory for an AR-15. In any case, so now we sit with a problem, because now we've charged people and we've confiscated stuff and we've gone to the press and we said, oh, we seized all these firearms, because according to the wrong interpretation of ballistic, SAPS ballistics, who we know have got a great track record of being absolutely spot on the money with everything, they have now determined this is a barrel. And in terms of the Firearms Control Act, a barrel can be considered to be a firearm. Even though you can't really do much with a barrel, you know. What do? Hold it in your hands, put it around it and smack it with a hammer. That's going to work out well. In any case, so these have been determined to be firearms. So now, and we have various talking heads squawking about, it's beyond this, it's more than just this, that because they're considered to be firearms, those people have been guilty of an unlawful dealing in firearms and providing firearms to unlicensed people, etc., etc. So some parties have tried to blow this up. Well, I believe that one particular talking head's removed all of those references from Facebook because
I don't know.
Turns out he's actually involved in involved in the situation. Anyway, neither here nor there. So that's the conversion kit issues. We see this as an existential problem for gun owners in general, not just the people that have bought these. As one of the guys involved in the process said to me yesterday, he said to me, but Paul, if these are barrels and these are now licensable, what about Roni kits that you put a Glock into or a pistol into so that they've got a shoulder stop, which helps people to
and that's
shoot
used in competition.
That's used in competition. What happens then? Are those now also going to be declared to be firearm parts that are licensable and require a license?
Our system is not already so messed up.
So, you know, it's like the guys don't have enough work to do. So they're trying to invent new things to do. Anyway, it is what it is. It's now in the hands of the courts. We'll see what the courts have to say about it. They'll determine. We are going to enter this fray because we feel strongly that this is, as I say, this is an existential problem. It relates not just to these specific kits. It relates to other firearm accessories which now might also be considered to be firearms, and then suddenly we end up with all sorts of problems. When I spoke to members of the SAPS about this yesterday, they said to me that, I said to them, what's the solution? And they said to me, well, the people that have got these must just surrender them for destruction, and we won't charge them. Hang on, if the guy's paid like $9.5 grand for this kit, now he must surrender it for destruction. On what basis? On the basis of a badly drafted opinion from SAPS Ballistics? I don't think so. So this is going to go to court. When it goes to court, we will be there on behalf of the average gun owner, you oaks. Not on behalf of a big company or anybody else. We'll be there on everybody else's behalf to help the court to reach a proper decision.
As amicus.
As amicus, a friend of the court. Yeah, so that's basically.
But what a mess.
We'll keep people appraised of it. I've opened a thread on our Facebook group about it, and we'll keep that thread updated on a regular basis.
And we do have inside information about what's going on from the dealers and stuff, from the importers that don't
under the bus.
No, I'm just saying from the people that has been the largest numbers been confiscated.
We're following. We know who to contact. We know who to talk to.
Yeah.
So. Kragdag.
Yeah.
onto happiest topics.
Yeah, very happy topics. Bloody 4 days is here. In between everything else is happening.
What the hell's going on? We mentioned it last week.
And then I think Susan mentioned
on Women's Day. Thank you, Susan. Now we know what the day is.
Yes.
And then it drags over the Thursday and the Friday and then the Saturday. Normally Kragdag, it's the Afrikaanse Sakeliggers, like the Afrikaans Chamber of Commerce. It's their exposition, which they hold, which we went down to in February in the Cape.
It's awesome.
Cape one. It's awesome.
It's really
it's like what the old range show used to be.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of people. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's not just selling yards and yards of cheap imported rubbish goods. It's there's food and there's people, and it particularly has an emphasis on self-sustainability. So if you're interested,
which is pretty important now living in South Africa.
Well, yes, perhaps. So if you're interested in power generation, solar, wind, gensets, seeds, growing food,
chickens, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, growing chickens to grow eggs, anything like that. Water, how to filter your own water, guys. Have we not seen this in the last couple of weeks?
Yes.
So how to filter your own water, how to store water.
They usually have growing tunnels, all kinds of stuff.
Exactly, it's fantastic.
It's really good.
Small farming type stuff.
I really enjoy that.
We're there from the perspective of the very important self-sustainability aspect of self-defense, protection. Owning firearms to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're there.
From both GOSA and Girls on Fire side.
And we'll be bringing a couple of our friends with us. We'll have a lot of Girls on Fire there. We'll be bringing a couple of our other friends with us. I think our friends from Paul Mar Ford that provide us with all of our motion, our vehicles that we travel in and stuff like that. They're going to be giving us at least one vehicle to help transport the volunteers backwards and forwards there, as well as our own vehicle. And they may come there also to fly the flag and talk to people about, people need a friend in the furniture business sometimes. That's Kragdag, so that's the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th of August.
So please come and join us.
Please come and join us. We're still looking for some volunteers to help us. Come and sit on the stand with us. You get your entrance for free. They've got great food around there, Cook Sisters and
Croquetten, which I got,
and etc. Fit Cook and fantastic. It's a nice day out in the early or late winter, early spring sun. Then.
Yes, it's now coming close. I spent most of the day on the road yesterday, picking up.
Bits and
pieces. Really, I'm absolutely amazed. It's going to be a really fantastic competition.
We're talking, of course, about the Ladies Top Shot 2023.
I'm just actually absolutely amazed. I'm still getting people saying, "Would you like this? Would you like this?"
Yeah.
It's just important. On that day, we're also going to do the Gunbury song with PJ Powers in the evening. We've got some surprises in that regard.
Yep.
We have the presentation of the Fighting Spirit Award,
Correct.
the Krista Swartz Fighting Spirit Award.
Yes.
We are actually, our panel has got until Monday to end it off. It's been very interesting for
And
me.
I'm not the hold-up.
No,
The
you're
first
not.
time ever.
So-
I'm one of those last-minute people.
Yeah.
I'll wait until the
You were
pressure.
the first one this.
I'll wait until the pressure of last minute forces me to do something.
That's why we're sometimes nearly late for flights.
And the live show.
And the live show. We've been a minute.
Will the blows not stop coming?
No, right. So,
Will
yeah.
not bleed. Yes.
So, yeah, so we've got a couple of people outstanding, but it's been very interesting. I've had,
Yes.
it's just the amazing stuff happening with Girls
Yeah.
on Fire in general. We've got new partners coming up, which we're going to work
Yes.
with. I say to you today, I'm actually quite flabbergasted about what's happening. We've
Yeah.
started already.
People are now starting to contact Girls on Fire, asking them to partner with them, which is quite interesting.
It's very interesting.
Major victim empowerment groups, even the Oak with the funny hair.
Stop it. Any case, we're not going to name names, but any case,
So guys, if you're around the Joburg, Pretoria area, the East Rand area on the 26th of August, and you want to drop in, even though you're not a girl and you're not on fire, if you just want to drop in and just have a look at what goes on. All of our supporters, there's more than 50 sponsors to the
Yeah.
event. So we're trying to get all of the 50 sponsors to have at least a gazebo there.
I know.
So it's going to be quite a big affair on its own.
Johnson's has been absolutely fantastic.
Johnson's workwear has come to the party
So they're going to
big
bring
time.
2 gazebos. I know that Paul Mar Ford will probably bring one of their vehicles, some vehicles
Yeah.
through, etc. Wildman, National Cartridge, CZ, Benelli.
Yeah.
It's just, it's huge. It's going to be
Fantastic.
absolutely fantastic. We have also started with our 16 days of action. It's just been chaos. So it's Krista Swart Fighting Spirit Award, which will be presented there.
Yeah,
Nice
just talking
prizes.
about that.
16 days of action. If you know somebody that's fought back after...
Fought a brave fight, particularly a lady, because
Yes. We're talking about women empowerment. The 16 days of action runs with the United Nations 16 days for no violence against women and children.
Yeah.
So we've changed it from activism to action. And last year we interviewed about 32 people. This year we'll interview probably around the same number, but we started early. We'll start publishing it on the 28th of November, but we started with the interviews
so we're a
right
little bit
now.
early for that right now.
Yeah, but we started the interviews. I just want to say, if you know somebody that you would like to interview, for us to interview, let us know.
Great.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Okay.
Right, have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. Cheers.
Bye.